if you think about ultimately, there will be billions of bots, virtual bots, and probably hundreds of millions, billions of robots too, lots of driverless cars. I think you're going to need a lot of GPUs, a lot of data centers.
Bitcoin is a protocol for moving money around. If Bitcoin is used not just as a store of value, but as a currency to move money around between people or between businesses and people or businesses and businesses, as that becomes more and more a thing, which I do think it becomes over the next 5 years, then we can launch Cash App and Square in every single country that has the internet. And that allows us the next big one, which is remittance across border, moving money between businesses, moving money between people across borders, which is happening in many countries outside the United States and Western countries today because there's no other options.
Bitcoin tops at this cycle?
Again, very difficult question. Somewhere between 500K to $1 million, I think.
And obviously, we wouldn't want to be owning anything that we thought was in a currency that was really going to hell. And that's the big thing we worry about with the United States currency. I mean, the tendency of a government to want to debase its currency over time there's no system that beats that. The value of currency is a scary thing. And we don't have any great system for beating that. We do in this particular Japanese position because we expect to hold it for 50 or 100 years or more. And we will be owning something that's denominated in yen and easily predictable. And we'll just, as long as the carry on it is right and everything, we'll attempt to issue Japanese denominated liabilities.
And I think the inflation data recently shows inflation is tracking lower than expected. The Fed has been on hold and they're saying they're waiting for tariffs. But what's interesting is the ECB has been cutting rates even though there's tariffs, inflation hitting Europe or soon to hit Europe. The reason is ECB's inflation measure, the HICP, exclude shelter. If the Fed excluded shelter from its core inflation calculation, it's lower than Europe now, and yet Fed funds is over 225 basis points tighter than Europe. So I can actually sympathize with the argument the Fed should be cutting now, even if we don't know the effects of the tariffs.
Yeah, I can too, but this makes me wonder whether all of the job owning from President Trump kind of made it less likely that Powell would actually be able to cut. I don't know if that was his intention or not.
Set when he paused everything on April 9th. And the truth is nobody knows where this lands. The Japanese are negotiating. They wanted to get away from even the 10% base tariff. They've just been told no, I gather. So there's uncertainty. There's also massive uncertainty, Brian, about China, because the US-China trade relationship has effectively been ended. This is not just a tariff, it's an embargo. And so that embargo could last for who knows how long. Markets were telling themselves last week, somehow this all gets done. Scott Bessent waves a magic wand and much of this goes away. I am struggling to find evidence that that outcome is the base case. My expectation is that the tariffs last. Us or China? Well, the Chinese are probably feeling more relative pain because they're so reliant on exports. But they have a system which is essentially opinion-proof. It's a one-party state with a surveillance system that makes any kind of political opposition virtually impossible. So he doesn't have to. Xi Jinping does not need to worry about opinion polls or midterms. Donald?
I mean, if they stop ordering now, then they won't have the right assortment that they were planning all year to have by the second half of the year. So that's true. And in both of these companies, you're trying to get different product. Think about the dollar stores. Think about what Five Below brings. They're bringing value to low price items. They're merchandising those items to their own specifications to align with fads, holidays, movies, trend, whatever that is. That product should be on boats at some point soon. If it's not, then they're going to have to retool what they want to put on their shelf. They'll be toys, but it may not be the exact ones that they wanted.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Jack Dorsey on Bitcoin adoption. Getting back to the whole purpose of Bitcoin, and that's moving money around. Anyone who has read the Bitcoin white paper, we already know. We know Bitcoin could have scaled and we wouldn't have a lot of these altcoins. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have CZ from Binance says this cycle, Bitcoin get 500,000 to 1 million. And like I told you, if Bitcoin becomes a checking account for these machines, it'll go past 1 million. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And you're going to be hearing this video a lot because we had Warren Buffett give us the truth when it comes to the dollar. And then also what he's doing now, and that's investing in the Japanese yen bonds. Because he knows Japan has to make a move eventually on interest rates. And then also, Japan owns a lot of the United States debt. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Tom Lee on the Fed. Says they should have already made a cut, just like Europe. But then he says, hey, look, if you take out housing, then we will be fine. Guys, they want to take out everything that we either pay daily or monthly just to get our inflation down to that certain percentage. This is nothing but a numbers game because we know the items that we buy on a daily basis and a lot of these rents and, of course, mortgages, they just keep going up. But as the labor market weakens, we're going to see a plummet in all this inflation. We're going to be going through hyper deflation. And that's what tokenization is going to produce. And then plus, we have the devalue of the dollar, what Warren Buffett has stated, and that's going to devalue the actual debt. And those who have the NWO book know the Crypto Teacher told you a long time ago, wrote about it a long time ago. And of course, on this YouTube channel, I've done plenty of videos on hyperdeflation. And we have the Trump tariffs against China creates the two sides globally. And that's the reason Biden and Trump had the same mission. They kept talking about bringing manufacturing back to the United States, but this time, guys, the manufacturing is going to be done by the machines. Yes, you're going to have a few humans inside these facilities, but majority of it, millions, maybe billions of robots doing the work. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And that's the reason why the U.S. shelves are about to change. The U.S. consumer spending habits are also about to change. And that's why we keep hearing about financial literacy. We know we haven't heard about financial literacy so much in my life. The United States will no longer be a leading consumer nation. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Trump says he wants to reopen Alcatraz. Of course, famous for housing some of the biggest criminals, but the cost was too high to repair it. And I definitely don't see it reopening. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Trump signs an executive order for U.S. drug manufacturing. And again, AI and the machines can make that happen. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Palantir. And we know Palantir gets a lot of government contracts, and that makes it a solid company. But of course, they're getting prepared to fight our adversaries. Remember, Star Wars is definitely coming. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And when it comes to AI and robotics, it's always the same selling points. Not enough workers. Yes, you heard that correct. Not enough workers. Convenience is another one. And then, of course, the jobs are too dangerous. You don't want to be flipping fries because it's too dangerous. You can't make this stuff up, but the bots and the machines are going to run rampant through this economy so fast. And where I'm at, I've clearly seen it tested They take it away, test it again, take it away, test it again. If you're not conscious of what they're doing, you're not going to understand. But as soon as we get that crisis, they're going to roll it all in. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Where did you get the idea for reopening Alcatraz?
Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz, of whatever it is. I mean, it's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order. And, it's got quite a history, frankly. Yeah. So I think we're going to do that, and we're looking at it right now.
The Washington Post is reporting that President Trump will sign an executive order today to incentivize domestic drug manufacturing. That's according to White House officials who are speaking on background. And a few of the different policies that will supposedly be in this executive order are directing the FDA to reduce the amount of time it takes to approve pharmaceutical manufacturing plants in the U.S., as well as directing the EPA to accelerate the construction of facilities related to manufacturing of drugs and their ingredients. Now, these are both important components because we've heard from some of the CEOs, companies like Eli Lilly that's building many manufacturing plants in the U.S., that it can take years to get these things built and permitted, and that's one hurdle. So, of course, that's a big step for these companies. So we'll have to see exactly how that plays out and if this does, in fact, incentivize more manufacturing in the U.S.
Numbers, you look at commercial, you look in terms of AI, they are leading when it comes to AI revolution. The software numbers are showing, even on the government side. And look, if you look at the bears, they hate it at 30, despise it at 50, absolutely say it's expensive at 100, 125. Look, I believe this is going to $1 trillion market cap in the next 2 to 3 years. These numbers just show. I think it's get the popcorn out. It's still in the early days of playing out.
I want to beef up our robotics presence. What's the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, it's a combination of all of that. I think the labor force is constrained in the U.S. We're at something over 4% unemployment. There's not a lot of staffing up these facilities. Whether we work with hospitals, we work with manufacturing, we work with logistics. All of them are struggling to staff to their needs right now. So part of this is just how are we going to even operate the facilities and have the staffing that we need? Part of this is, the best practices in lean manufacturing that have kind of evolved over the last 20 to 40 years. You really want predictability, and technology is a way to bring predictability to those process paths. And now, as we bring software and AI into the operations as well, if the more of the operation that is under control of technology, of mechatronics, of robotics, we can then apply software and AI to further optimize that. And so there's a lot of tailwinds beyond just say, is this robotic capability lower cost than the human worker? It's really, can this technology allow us to produce higher quality, more predictably, at a higher throughput, and then can we apply software and AI to keep making that better?
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, So therefore, we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.